Did this deck just destroy Sage? Hello and welcome to the table, and today I'm back with another Flesh and Blood Sage deck tech video. Today talking about Florian, a deck that was really bad before. But with some new cards from Compendium of Rathe, he might just be broken. Because this 4-elect, 20 life, elemental Runeblade hero that has the essence of Earth, meaning you can play Earth cards in your deck, has a very simple ability. If there are 4 or more Earth cards in your Banish zone, if you would create 1 or more aura tokens, you instead create that many plus 1 of each of those tokens. Now, that's pretty good, because Runeblades, they like Runechant tokens. They love to create those Runechant tokens. And if you make 1 Runechant token, Florian says you make 2. If you make 3 Runechant tokens, Florian says you make 4. If you create a Runechant token, and then create a Runechant token, you make 4 Runechant tokens, because it's separate instances of Runechant Creation. And that is pretty powerful. Now, it is a little bit difficult to get to those 4 cards in Banish Zone, so this deck's pretty tanky. You kind of want to defend, make sure that your opponent doesn't hit you for too much, maybe gain some life here and there. Just make sure that you, don't get too far behind too quick and then just get blown out of the water. So you want to take your time, start getting those cards into the Banish Zone, whether it's Decompose or other means I'll get to later in the video, and then just play big monsters, make some Runechant tokens to throw at your opponent alongside those big monsters, and just zap your opponent to death with 1,000,000,000 billion Runechant tokens. Because doesn't that sound like a complete blast? I think it is. Because the second that this guy got spoiled in Rosetta, I knew I had to build him. Then he got a little bit expensive. And I'm like, hey, I'll build him in Sage. Especially now that he is quite a bit better. But getting past the hero and the game plan, let's talk about the weapon and the equipment. The weapon being Reaping Blade, a card that can sometimes bite this deck in the ass, but is generally speaking a very powerful weapon, because this 2-handed 3 power, once per turn action speed weapon, has this 1 cost to attack with it. You spend 1 attack with it for 3, and that's it. Oh wait, sorry. If a hero has more life than each other hero, they can't gain life. So if you're playing against something like Verdance, or a deck that just likes to gain some life here and there, if they have more life than you, well, they can't gain life. Now, unfortunately, that also goes for you, so if you have more life than your opponent, you can't gain life. And that can be unfortunate sometimes, especially with the card I'll get to later in the video, but generally speaking, it's going to hurt your opponent. Otherwise, it's just a 1-cost weapon that comes in for 3, which is still pretty freaking good, all things considered. But yeah, this card, pretty solid. And you gotta play it, because it's Runeblades. I mean, if you have ever seen a Runeblade deck, you know what this card is, because most every Runeblade deck out there just plays this card, whether in the main deck or in the inventory. But then you got a couple of good pieces of equipment, the first one being Beckoning Hand. A 2-block Guardwell piece of equipment, arm piece, new card from Compendium of Rathe, and every single Runeblade deck ever just got a massive upgrade with this card. Specifically for Sage, but in CC it can matter too. But mostly in Sage, because this card is just the new go-to arm piece for Runeblades. Because hey, 2-block for free at one point in the game. That's nice. But on top of that, nichely, as an action, you can pay double X in a, 1, to pop it, and return an aura with the cost of X from your graveyard to your hand. So if you want to bring back an aura that costs 0, you spend X equal to 0, so nothing, and then 1 resource, and then boom, get it right back into your hand. But if you want to return something that costs 1, well, you got to spend X equal to 1, so you spend a total of 3 resources, and then get that aura back to your hand. And you're never going to have anything higher than that in Runeblades, so basically you either pitch 1 to get back an aura that costs 0, or 3 to get back an aura that costs 1. Either way, that can be really powerful in the right game, and just allow you to get a little bit of extra value, which is exactly what this deck likes to see. And the fact that it just blocks for 2 whenever you need it is the main reason you play it. Otherwise, hey, the ability's niche and sometimes very valuable, but blocks for 2. That's the main dealio. Like Blade Beckoner Plating, which is a 1-block Guardwell piece of equipment that gets +1 power while defending a weapon attack. Now, if you are just going to block up a weapon straight up, well, it blocks for 2, and then boom, you're done. Or you can block for 1 on a non-weapon attack, and then 1 again on a weapon attack later down the line. So either way, this card's blocking for 2, either a little bit more spread out or just all in one go. Either way, you're pretty happy, and this card is pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, out of all the Blade Beckoner pieces of equipment, this card's probably the least played of the bunch, but in this deck, you don't really need the extra resources because you run enough pitch cards, and you generally only need 1 card to pitch every single turn, but either way, the card is really, really good in the deck. So, you play it. And again, the deck white likes to be a little bit tanky, and it's just nice to have as many 2-block pieces of equipment as you can get. And speaking of which, here's another one. Helm of Lignum Vitae. Now this card takes a little bit longer to be able to use. You can use it right away for 1 blade break, and yeah, that's fine I guess, but that's not great. But if there are 4 more earth cards in your banish zone, it gets +1 defense, so it can block for 2. And 2 is quite a bit more than 1 when it comes to blocking in this game, and that is really, really nice. So you kinda just suck it up, wait a minute, block with the Beckoning Haunt and the Blade Beckoner Plating, and then you get to this guy later in the game, and then you block for 2, and you smile at your opponents. Like, I just got nothing but 2 blocks in my equipment zone, I'm a complete tank, and you can't do anything about it. Suck it up. And then there's also Well Grounded. Very similar, a little bit different, and potentially way better, but Well Grounded here is an instant speed leg piece that can pop itself to then prevent the next 2 damage that will be dealt to you this turn. However, you can only do that if there are 4 more earth cards in your banish zone. So it's a really powerful effect because, you know, any 2 damage, doesn't matter if it's regular damage, arcane damage, or any kind of damage, it can prevent it. And that is pretty powerful. However, the 4 earth cards needing to be in your banish zone, yeah, it means that it's going to take a little bit longer, but it's still really good. Because, yeah, I mean, you always play it because it can be really nice into Arcane, other Arcane damage dealing decks, or just any deck. Because a 2-block is powerful. It's good. So, you play it. Then getting into the main deck itself, you got a couple of different categories of cards. The first one I want to talk about being the Earth cards. Now, this is not all the Earth cards in the deck, but I do want to talk about a majority of the Earth cards. The first one being Autumn's Touch, a complete MVP in this deck. I love this card. This card is so good. I mean, of every single Earth card that has ever been printed in this game, this is pretty easily the most powerful in my opinion. Because Earth cards in decks that care about a specific, you know, talent, Earth talent, Ice talent, Lightning talent, they care about those cards. They care about that element a lot. So having a good on-rate body that also blocks for 3 is really good. And Autumn's Touch is the Earth version of this, because this is a 3-cost, 7 attack that blocks for 3. Very simple, but it's very good, because it's just generically on-rate. And it matters for 90% of the cards in the deck, so it just works. Because of that, we run the reds, we run the yellows, and yes, we run the blues as well. The card's just stupid, and you play it. Period. End of sentence. Beyond that, you also got a couple of auras, some pretty good ones. The first of which being Harvest Season. This was the card I was talking about earlier that can suck, can, you know, be a bit sad sometimes with the Reaping Blade, but generally speaking, this card's really good. Because this is a 1-cost Earth aura that has Go Again, which is really nice, but at the beginning of your action phase, you can pop it to then gain 3 resources. Well, you just pop it, period, in a sentence. And it only blocks for 2, which can stink, but there's a reason you run a lot of 2-block pieces of equipment in this deck, because you have a decent amount of stuff that can only block for 2, and that can suck. But Harvest Season here, the fact that it can gain you 3 life is really nice. And it's an Earth card that can get itself into your yard while doing a little bit of extra work at the same time. And the fact that it's an aura now matters a lot more than it used to, and I'll get to why that is in a second. But there's another Earth aura I want to talk about, Strong Yield, which is pretty much the exact same thing as Harvest Season, except instead of gaining you 3 life, it gives your next attack. Not attack action, but just attack, plus 3 power. Now, that, in my opinion, is very, very important, because there are turns where it can get a little bit awkward, and you can't attack with one of your 3 costs, but you can still attack with something like the Reaping Blade, which is why it's really good. When the turns are a little bit awkward, the Reaping Blade can be very helpful. And because of that, Strong Yield being able to give any attack plus 3 power, it's something that's niche, but it can matter. And the fact that it just gives a plus 3 power bump in general is just nice, because this deck likes to swing one big attack every single turn. That's generally what it does. And that, yeah, that's pretty powerful. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, yeah, you play it. You play it in the deck, especially alongside a lot of the new cards that care about auras. But speaking of auras, there's one more I want to talk about. Sigil of Earth, a 0-cost blue aura. Blocks for 2, unfortunately, but it has Go Again, and at the beginning of your action phase, you pop it, and when it leaves your arena, you create an embodiment of Earth token. Now, what does that do? I'm glad you asked. It gives non-attack action cards you control plus 1 power while defending, or plus 1 defense while defending. At the beginning of your action phase, you pop it. So, yeah, it's a token, it's gonna vanish, and it's not gonna be in your yard, which, you know, can be nice. That would be really cool if it would stay in the graveyard, but it can't. But the fact that it gives your non-attack actions plus 1 defense is actually very valuable sometimes, because every single one of your non-attack actions, outside of a couple, there are some, but outside of like 2, every single one of your non-attack actions blocks for 2. And, you know, we've seen a couple. Harvest Season, Strong Yield, there's some others I'll get to, and of course, Sigil of Earth itself also only blocks for 2. The fact that it can get up to 3, again, very niche, but it's a blue and it serves a niche effect. But when it matters, you know, it can be really nice to have that in your blues. And I'll have to rely on it being a red or something. But yeah, Sigil of Earth, good card. And then there's one more Earth card I want to talk about. Fruits of the Forest. The yellow one and the blue one are being played in the deck. They're both very similar. One's blue, 3 cost, 5 attack, 2 block. The other is a yellow, 6 attack, 3 cost, 6 attack, 2 block. Why do you play it in the deck? Well, yeah, it's not as good as Autumn's Touch, but it's pretty freaking close. Because it's in their, you know, decently on-rate body. It doesn't block for 3, which sucks, but it does, at instant speed, discard itself to gain you 2 life. Yes, this is another card that can be really unfortunate with the Reaping Blade, but it still can gain you life. It can still instant speed discard itself into your graveyard, which can sometimes very much so matter. And the fact that it can be good pitch cards also matters, also is good. So, yes, it's not absurd, it's not broken, it's not Autumn's Touch, but it's pretty close. And pretty close is close enough in my book to play a card that does more work than you would think. At least if you've never played against Florian before, or played Florian before. Because if you know why this card's good, you know why this card's good. But then, getting past the Earth cards, let's talk about the Banish. Some of this is Decompose, some of it is some new goodies. But let's talk about the new goodies first, because I've been talking to you about auras and the fact that that matters, because, hey, this is gonna be able to do something good. Well, yeah, some of them are Earth cards. Actually, all the ones I've shown you are Earth cards. But not all of them are Earth cards. And, you know, it also just matters to have more ways to be able to banish stuff and get those Earth cards into your you know, banish zone. And we got some new ways to do that. The first of which being Weeping Battleground. A pretty solid card, not gonna lie. It's a 0-cost defense reaction, blocks for 3. Okay, that's fine, I guess. And when you play it, you may banish an aura from your yard. If you do, you deal an arcane damage to target hero. It's pretty similar to Sigil of Suffering. It does the exact same thing, except it just deals 1 arcane damage to the attacking hero, period in a sentence, and if or if you've dealt arcane damage, it blocks for 4 instead of 3, which, you know, makes this card really good and powerful. Definitely should play it in the deck as a 2 of, but Weeping Battleground is almost better because, yeah, it doesn't get 5 value basically versus 4, potentially, but the fact that this can get rid of an aura from your yard can matter a ton. And the fact that it deals an arcane damage is also pretty nice, but mostly the fact that it can just deal get an aura into your banish zone is really valuable, because more ways, this deck did not have nearly as many ways to banish stuff, get those earth cards into your banish zone as this deck does now, and this is one of the cards that has allowed the deck to, you know, be able to do more of the banish of the earth cards. And there's another really good card, because remember when I said this deck likes to send a lot of just one attack, especially when it's on rate? That's also really nice. That's why Autumn's Touch is also very good in the deck. There's another vanilla, basically, statted body, except it does something else that's pretty good. Runic Felling Son, the new best card in Florian. No, I'm joking. It's still really good, though. It's got some Florian art, which is really sick, because this card was practically designed for the deck, at least in my opinion. Because this card is a 3-cost, 7-attack, 3-block. Great start, great start. It's not an earth card, but hey, it's fine, because when this attacks, you may banish an aura from your yard. If you do, you deal an arcane damage to target hero. Hey, you remember all those auras? Harvest Season, Strong Yield? You don't have the ways to decompose? Shucks! Gotta banish them anyways with Runic Felling Son. And that, my friends, is pretty freaking good. And on top of that, it's a 3 for effectively 8. One of that damage being kind of split damage. So that, you know, pretty good. Pretty good. So, yeah, I love the card. It's awesome. It's so good, in fact, that I play the blue version of it, which is the same thing except it's a 5 attack instead of a 7, because it pitches for 3. But yeah, Runic Felling Son, really solid card. And if this deck doesn't already have enough auras, I gave you one more blue aura, Sigil, a Sylphidae. Totally said that right. This blue 3-block, 3-block aura, and it is a non-attack, by the way, so it can, you know, block for 4 with the Sigil of Earth, embodiment of Earth kind of thing, but mostly, this is a blue block 3, which is a great start. But on top of that, it's an aura that costs nothing, has go again, and says when it enters or leaves the arena, you may banish another aura from your graveyard. And if you do, you deal an arcane damage to target hero. I did not think that there was a blue aura that would ever come to this deck that could be and do, you know, about the same amount of work as Autumn's Touch. But here we go. This card is insane because, yeah, it's not gonna be an Earth card. It's not, you know, a decently statted on-rate body or whatever, but it blocks 3. It's a blue. That's great. It's an aura, which this deck cares about now. And it can be a blue card that costs nothing, that can banish 2 Earth cards, get 2 Earth cards into Banish Zone, while at the same time dealing arcane damage to your hero. This card is awesome. I love it. It's so cool. It's so good. At the beginning of your action phase, you do destroy it. So yes, that is how enters, leaves, gets rid of 2 auras from your graveyard, if you have 2 auras in your graveyard. But what mostly matters is this card can get 2 Earth cards into your Banish Zone, and if you don't draw enough Decompose, you really want to have ways to get as many Earth cards into the Banish Zone as you can, and this can do it. And it's a blue block 3 on top of that. It's so good, because you can just block with it. You know, maybe got a few too many blues, you can just block with this, and then boom! You blocked for 3, you got an aura in the graveyard, and now, you know, that can matter. Yeah, sure, it's not an Earth card, and that does suck, but it's something that can at least get you value out of the Runic Felling Son or the Weeping Battleground. Either way, the card's just really good, really nice. Allows the deck to be a little bit more consistent while also serving as a blue. That's really nice, and that's really cool. But then, beyond that, I also got some other sweet cards. Some Decompose cards. The first one being Blossoming Decay. Another card that can gain life, but this card's really good. Because, yeah, it only blocks for 2, but it's a 2-cost 5 attack. Not a great start, but it decomposes, meaning that when it attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. So you banish 2 Earth cards, period, and you can banish an action card, which can be another Earth card if you want. If you got 3, that's awesome, because, 3 cards in the banish zone that are Earth cards. You need 4. All you need to do after that is play 1 card like Runic Felling Son or Weak Beam Battleground, and then bada bing, bada boom. You got all the Earth cards in the banish zone. But beyond that, if you do decompose, you gain life. So it's kind of a 2-cost 6 attack. That, sure, doesn't block for 3, but can decompose, can get those stuff into the banish zone. And that, my friends, is pretty freaking good. And speaking of pretty freaking good, Cadaver's Tilling, a card I love in this deck, because it is a 3-cost, 6 attack, 2 block. That's it. No, I'm joking. It also decomposes, and if you do decompose, it gets +2. So it's a 3-cost 8, similarly to Felling Son, Runic Felling Son, kind of. But it can get rid of 2 Earth cards and maybe even a 3rd. And that's really good. Yeah, it doesn't block for 3, that sucks and it is annoying, but whatever. It's fine because, 3 potentially Earth cards in the banish zone while also playing an 8-power card. That's really good for 1 blue. 1 blue, this card, you do so much of what the deck wants to do. And yeah, it doesn't block for 3. Shucks. It's an Earth card itself, just like Blossoming Decay, and it's just so good. It's just so good. But the deck really needs another way to decompose. Like, yes, the cards that say when it attacks, you may banish an aura. That's really nice, but it would be even nicer if there was another way to decompose. And in Compendium of Rathe, baby, we got another one in Chorus of Rotwood. Oh, I love this card. It is not an attack, which is unfortunate, but it's fine because it is a Earth Runeblade action. Earth card. Great start. It blocks for 2. Whatever. Doesn't have go again. Okay, the card's getting worse, but for 1 resource, you can decompose, banishing 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. And if you do, you create an Embodiment of Earth token. So you get a little bit more defensive with those non-attack actions. Awesome. Perfect. Something like, a Sigil of Sylphidae can block for 4, or can just make some of your other cards like Strongheal that block for 2, block for 3 instead. Great. Great start. Oh, by the way, you also create 3 Runechant tokens. So you spend 1, you create 3 Runechant tokens, you make an Embodiment of the Earth token, which can allow you to be a little bit more tanky and defensive, which the deck also likes to do, and you decompose, which the deck also likes to do, and it's an Earth card, which the deck also likes to run a lot of, and it's a Runeblade card with pretty art, and that's a pretty nice positive on top of everything. So hey, this card's really good. This card's really good. Let's play it. Let's run it. And I love it. It's a great card. And I wish that there was a blue, because I would probably play the blue. I'm kind of joking, kind of not, but the card's really good. And hey, it's another thing that decomposes. Awesome. I love it. But besides that, there's one more step to the deck. Creating Runechant tokens. This card makes Runechant tokens, but we need more. We need more. We love Runechant tokens. We need more. How do we get that? I'll tell ya. Runeblood Incantation. That's the first one. It's a 1-cost aura. Great start. That blocks for 2. Crap. It has go again. Yes, we're recovering. And when it enters with 3 verse counters on it. the beginning of your action phase, you can remove one of those verse counters, well, you do remove one of those verse counters, to then create a Runechant token. If you don't remove a verse counter this way, you blow up the Rune Blood incantation. So, okay, you play this, next 3 turns, you make a Runechant token on each of those turns. Wait a minute, that's pretty good, because with Florian here, well, I think what you do is you make a Runechant token. With Florian's ability, you actually make another one, so that's 2. Next turn, you do the same thing, and the next turn, you do the same thing. That's a total of 6 Runechant tokens for 1 resource? Pretty good. The fact that it makes 3 Runechant tokens for 1 resource is pretty solid. Takes a little bit, but it's still pretty good. The fact that it could potentially make 6, or if you play it on like your first turn and it takes 2 turns to get Florian to, get to the 4 cards in the Banish Zone, and it makes 1 more, 1 resource for 4 Runechant tokens, maybe 5, that's still pretty solid too. So yeah, the card's really good, and it's another aura. It's not an Earth card, which sucks, but it's a really good card. Speaking of really good cards, a card that's even better is Malefic Incantation, a card that is probably the main reason that this deck doesn't run as many blues as it probably should, but I like the deck being a tad bit more aggressive when it needs to be, not super defensive with a ton of blues and yellows. I don't want half of the deck basically being pitch, in a sense, and half of it mostly being taken up by cards that the deck needs to run and not too many attacks. So I think that this card allows the deck to be a little bit more aggressive and have a couple of more, good attacks, which I think the deck does need, in my opinion, personally. But Malefic Incantation, really solid card, besides the fact that it makes the deck run more like I want it to. But Malefic Incantation here is a 0-cost 2-block Runeblade action aura, we go again, that enters the arena with 3 verse counters on it. And when it has none, you destroy it. And then once per turn, when you play an attack action card, you remove a verse counter from it, and if you do, you create a Runechant token. Hey! This is like Runeblood Incantation, but it's better, because it costs nothing. And it can make your Runechants the turn you play it. This is really good, because you can, play the Malefic Incantation for nothing. Just spend a card from your hand, then, pitch a blue, play something like Cadaverous Tilling. And when it attacks, you can stack your effects. You can do Decompose first, I think. Nope, never mind. You gotta do the Malefic Incantation thing first. But, let's just say, it was already online. Florian's ability. You play the Cadaverous Tilling. It's coming in for 8. And then, boom, you play the Malefic Incantation, get its effect. Bada bang, bada boom, you make 2 Runechant tokens. That's really good. You play one of your attacks, your 3 cost 7s, your 3 cost 8s, and then you make 2 Runechant tokens on the back end. That's really good. That's really good. So yeah, you play it, you love it, you're a happy camper. On top of that, here's one more way to gain life and make Runechant tokens. Arcane Seed's Life, a card that I love in this deck. I think it is the most Florian card to ever Florian in the history of Florian. And yes, I love Chorus of Rotwood. I kind of wish it just said create 1 Runechant token and create 1 Runechant token. Realistically, that probably would make the card too broken because it makes an Embodiment of Earth token. You're gonna make probably 2 Embodiment of Earth tokens by the time that you're playing this. And you make 3 Runechant tokens, 4 thanks to Florian's effect, 2 embodiments, and 4 Runechants would probably be a little bit too broken. But the cards, I'd like to, whatever. But still, Arcane Seed's Life is the Florian card. Because the life side of it, well, you gain a life at instant speed. But then you play the Runeblade, Arcane Seeds half of it, which is a Runeblade action and go again. That creates a Runechant token, then creates a Runechant token. 2 separate effects of creating a Runechant token. That seems stupid. Why not just say create 2 Runechant tokens? Nope. These with Florian, create a Runechant token. Oh, you're creating a Runechant token? You make extra one of those. So you make 2 Runechant tokens. Then you create another Runechant token. You make 2 Runechant tokens. You make 2 Runechant tokens, then make 2 Runechant tokens. That's a total 4 Runechant tokens. And you gain a life off of the life half. So that's 0 resources for, 1 life on your side. And then 4 Runechant tokens. That's 4 arcane damage. and this thing blocks for 3, by the way. Yeah, this card of everything in Florian ever, outside of the Decompose cards, this is my favorite thing that Florian has in the deck, period, end of sentence. And it also has really pretty art. But either way, the card's really, really, really good. And I love it. So yeah, Arcane Seed's life. You play it in the deck. If you don't, you're insane. What are you doing? But anyways, there's one more card I want to talk about super quick. It's the only card I haven't talked about in the main deck so far, and that's Amplify the Arcanite. As you can tell, this deck makes a lot of Runechant tokens, and if you ever need a card to just attack with, you know, take advantage of the 50 Runechant tokens you don't have on board, but you have nothing, basically. You have this lying around in the arsenal. You have nothing to pitch to your Weeping Blade, and you don't have cards in your hand. It's like, I need something to attack with to take advantage of these Runechant tokens. I know this sounds super niche, but you play Amplify the Arcanite, a 3-cost 4 attack. That sounds bad, but it costs 1 less to play for each Runechant token you control. So it could be a 0-cost 4 attack. It takes advantage of all those Runechant tokens you've stacked up and deal a crap ton of arcane damage to your opponent and come in for 4 at the same time. Now, granted, that's not great and not going to happen too often. And when that's not happening, it's a blue block 3. So fine, it's close, it's good, it's still good, it's still good, it's still good. But that's the main deck. Let's talk about the inventory. And the inventory, whew, it's really good. So, starting things off, I got some more good defensive tools. The first one being On the Horizon. Just a generic 4-block that went in defense. Look at the top card of your deck. Very simple. It's just good. It's just, you need to be a little bit more defensive. Got On Horizon is one of those defensive tools, such as Reduce to Runechant, another really good defensive tool that I kind of really want to run in the main deck, but there's nothing I want to cut. There's probably something I could cut, but I don't want to. I don't want to cut nothing in the deck. So, Reduce to Runechant, sent down to the inventory, because this is a really good, effectively, 0-cost Runeblade defense reaction. It does cost 1, but it costs 1 less to play for each Runechant you control, so generally speaking, is going to cost 0, and you block for 4 at defense reaction speed, which is nice for 0 resources, but you also get to create a Runechant token, and that is pretty sweet. Blocking for 4 and making a Runechant token, that's 5 value, kind of out of 1 card. Pretty good. Pretty good. So if you need to be a little bit more defensive, you got the Reduced Runechant and you got the Horizon. And if you're playing against a deck that also loves auras, and you still want to have a way to decompose, don't worry, I got you. I got Summersfall, a 2-cost, 6-attack, 2-block that decomposes. If you do, you put 1 aura at the bottom of the owner's deck, and an aura token just vanishes into nothingness. So if your opponent has a really good aura, you're playing against another Runeblade deck, a stupid old Runeblade deck, and they play a really stupid, dumb aura. Okay? Let's bottom deck it. Or you're playing against something like a Guardian. Guardians really like auras. There are some really broken, stupid auras in Guardians. Let's play Summersfall and get rid of it. They spent their turn maybe playing a really powerful aura. Let's get rid of it. And just say that they wasted their last turn. And oh, by the way, I decomposed, furthering my game plan, and I'm coming in for 6. F you. Basically, against the right matchup is what this card says, and that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. But there's also some good ways to prevent arcane damage, soak up some arcane damage if you are playing against another deck that has arcane damage dealing means. And the first card I want to talk about here is Arcane Polarity, a card, again, I run in every single deck in Sage as a 2-of because it's so good. Yeah, some decks realistically might not run it, but I really hate wizards, and I really just think that it's nice to have 2 of this instead of a 3rd copy of an Arcane Barrier card. Yeah, it's more guaranteed with the Arcane Barrier equipment, but I like the other 2 pieces I have in the deck, and I don't want to cut any of them, so I run 2 Arcane Polarity. Shucks. Suck it up. But this card is a 0-cost generic instant that gains you life. If you've been down its arcane damage this turn, you gain 4 life. Hey, a 0-cost, basically 4-block, except it's for arcane damage, and you gain life. which with Reaping Blade can kind of suck sometimes, but we don't care about that part of it. We're gonna hope it doesn't, suck. And, go bad. This is why someone playing Florian, or Flesh and Blood in general, they need to be really smart, and probably smarter than me realistically, but they also especially need to be smart with a deck like this, and anything like a Reaping Blade, where you always need to keep track of, like, the life totals, and, like, should I take this damage now because I might draw this effect, or I have this effect in my hand, so I need to deal, or get dealt this much damage, and have my opponent take at most this much damage in order so I can still do this. You need to do too much mathy stuff. But with Arcane Polarity, it's a good card. I think it should be played as a 2-of in every single Sage deck ever. Outside of a couple, there are some. I don't know what they are. There are some, more than likely. But yeah, Arcane Polarity, good card. Then, I got 2 Arcane Barrier pieces of equipment alongside it. Crown of Dictamy, a card that I really wish there was something better than. I mean, I like the card. It's cool, but I just don't like this headpiece. This is a Runeblade headpiece with Arcane Barrier 1 and at action speed. You can spend a resource, pop it, put target Runeblade action card, and target Runeblade non-attack action card from your graveyard on top of your deck in any order. Yes, it could be really nice sometimes. It could be something like, I don't know, Runic Felling Sun that you're returning back to the top of your deck. But you don't have a ton of Runeblade attack actions in this deck. You have a lot of Runeblade non-attack actions in this deck, but you have Runic Felling Sun, basically. That's the only non-attack, or attack action, Runeblade attack action you have in the deck. Yeah, you have Amplify the Arcanite too, but you generally don't really need to return a blue to your hand. But the card has Arcane Barrier 1, that's why you play it, and it sometimes has an action that can matter, but it has Arcane Barrier 1, which is cool. Then there's a card that's way more cool, way more fun, and new, Runebleed Robe. I said that right. It's a chess piece, it's a new Runeblade chess piece, it has Arcane Barrier 1, and instant speed, you can destroy it. And a rune chant you control to prevent the next 1 arcane damage shall be dealt to you this turn. This card's really good. Kinda wish it said prevent the next 1 damage shall be dealt to you this turn, but it's fine, because this card, hey, it has Arcane Barrier, and on top of that, can just prevent damage, arcane damage, at any point you want. If you just have a blue to pitch to the Runebleed Robe, you prevent 3 arcane damage, there's 1 more coming at you. You don't know what to do. You instant speed, just pop it. And Runeblade, you do need that, or Rune Chant. You also need that Rune Chant. But then you prevent that 1 extra piece of arcane barrier, or arcane damage, and you're all good. And that is pretty nice, pretty cool, pretty sweet. Is it gonna matter that often? No, but it can basically do a little bit more. It matters to me a lot more than Crown of Dictamy does, and it's newer, it has prettier art, and I haven't seen it for as long, and I'm just tired of playing Crown of Dictamy in Rune Chant or Rune Blade decks. I'm just tired of it. I don't like the card. I'm done with it. I want to break up with it, but I can't because the card's just, I kind of need it. But anyways, that's the deck. It's really good. It's really fun. When this deck originally came out, I was so wanting to build the deck. I mean, my favorite deck in the entire game, period in a sentence, is Boltyn. I love it because I love his weapon, Raiden. I love that weapon. It is my favorite weapon in all of Flesh and Blood. It's my favorite card in all of Flesh and Blood. And Boltyn is the only deck that can take advantage of it, so I play Boltyn. But right behind Boltyn is probably Florian. I love Florian. It's such a cool deck. The first ever decks I ever played around with in Flesh and Blood were Rune Blades, and oh my god, they were so fun. Rune Blades and Warriors were the first 2 classes I ever really did stuff with that I enjoyed, and because of that, Florian being one of the first ones I was actually going to build in Classic Constructed, I had so much fun building the lists. I thought the deck was super cool, super unique to a point, super fun, and it's just like, I cannot wait to build this. and the deck skyrocketed and cost $1 million bazillion. And I'm like, F this. I think that's kind of where my depression of Flesh and Blood kind of began, because it's like, this game costs too much, dang it, sometimes. This game can cost too much, dang it, I want to build this deck that's super cool. And then Gravy did the same thing. I'm like, gosh dang it, I hate this. I can only play Bolton, and I like to just brew. I like to have 1,000 decks. And now Sage is around, and I can still build my million bazillion decks. I can play Florian. I can play Gravy Bones. I can play those decks that I want to build because they're cool and they're fun. And now I can finally play Florian, and I'm so happy. And with these new cards, these new wonderful cards like Chorus of Rotwood, mainly that one, but also Runic Felling Song and Weeping Battleground. Those cards are also absurdly good in the deck. I can now play Florian in Sage and not lose every single game. And that, in my opinion, I'm so happy about. I love this deck. I love making 1 million Runechants and have every single Rune Blade in this game. Florian, I think, is the coolest and most fun. Also because I just love Autumn, and it's like that Autumn hero. And it's just like badass art. I'm not like into gothic horror, and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's just so cool. Like, that's just so cool. You know? So I just want to build this guy. And I finally get to. And I'm so happy about it. But if you all enjoy this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. It's completely for your own credits. Check out my other Sage Deck Tech videos. Linked right there. Check out maybe some other stuff right there. Check it out there. And for that side, I'll see you all in the next video. And enjoy.